How much water should you drink in a day? This is a question that experts can never agree on. I'm going to show you the symptoms that will help you determine whether or not you're getting enough water and give you guidelines as to how much you should be drinking, because if you're not getting enough water, a lot of nasty symptoms can start to occur in your body and even be related to disease long term. So let's go ahead and first start off with, many experts will tell you that you need to drink a gallon of water per day, or 50% of your body weight in ounces of water. But is that good advice? We'll circle back to how much you exactly need, but let's take a look at the symptoms that will start to show up when you start becoming dehydrated. The first is headaches. It's so often that people come to me and they say, well, Dr. Zyrowski, I've been having headaches. And my first question is water. Are you getting enough water? And are you getting enough electrolytes, which we'll also talk about in just a moment, because it's a big cause of headache issues. The next is constipation. If you're constantly constipated, we have to think about, are you drinking enough water? Because if you're not, well, just like all areas of your body will become dry and not hydrated properly, so will your colon and cause constipation. We also can get cramping. This is one of the first signs typically to show up. And what you'll find is that a lot of times you're going to get cramping in the small muscles in the body. So it may be twitching in the face, twitching in the feet, or even in the hands. So cramping is a big one. Brain fatigue is very common. You wake up in the morning, you have brain fatigue, or you have brain fatigue in the afternoon. And what happens when most people get brain fatigue? They pour caffeine on the problem. And what happens when you drink caffeine? You become more dehydrated. So we want to really start focusing on making sure that we're getting plenty of water to combat brain fatigue. Now, dry mouth is another very common sign. That's pretty self-explanatory. Your urine color being bright yellow. Another thing you can look for, and you can even do this right now, pinch the skin on the back of your hand. If the skin rebounds quickly, then you'll see that your skin is well hydrated and has good elasticity. If your skin holds that form after you pinched it and doesn't rebound quickly, there's a good chance that you're dehydrated. So that's another way that you can look to see and just kind of test yourself and see if you're hitting the proper hydration levels. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're getting more water than previously thought. Right around 40 to 60% of your body weight in ounces. And I have a little bit of a sliding scale here, because guess what? Some people need more, some people need less. We're all living different lifestyles. Some of us are exercising really hard, sweating a lot. Some of us are doing manual labor and we're out in the outdoors in the hot sun. Some of us are working at a desk, right? We all have different lifestyles. So therefore we make sure that we're getting water according to what our body needs. And 40 to 60% of your body weight in ounces is a really good way to make sure that you're getting plenty of water, but also looking at the different symptoms involved. I want to talk to you real quick about some of the different things that you need to take into consideration when drinking water, because this is very important. So follow me here. Purity is very important. We have to make sure that we're drinking good, pure water. It's so often I go out to a restaurant and they serve me tap water. It's so often that I see people fill up their water straight from the sink. And unfortunately, and this is truly unfortunately, because it shouldn't be like this, most of the water that we're getting out of the tap anymore is not good, pure water. If you're living in a city, there's a good chance that it's treated with chlorine and fluoride and a whole bunch of chemicals that are neurotoxins. If you're living in like an area with a well, there's a good chance that there's just naturally occurring toxins in there that you don't want in your water. So for instance, in my own personal house, we have very, very high arsenic levels which would be dangerous if we weren't filtering it. So you always have to make sure you're taking purity into consideration. Now, let me tell you this. Once you take purity into consideration, one of the things that happens through the filtering process is you pull out much of the minerals. You're going to pretty much pull out all the minerals in your water. So this leads to an electrolyte imbalance. Okay. Now, I said when we talked about headaches and some of these symptoms over here, I was going to circle back and talk about electrolytes. This is where you really need to focus, because many times when I tell people, have you been drinking enough water because you're getting headaches? And I asked the question, have you drank enough water because you're getting cramping or constipation? And they say, yeah, I drink tons of water. I've been drinking, this isn't even an issue for me. I drink so much water. And I go, how about electrolytes? And they're like, what are electrolytes, right? Now, the reason this is really significant and important is because your body needs electrolytes. You need potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium. You need these electrolytes in order to feel well. It's a big part of whether or not you get brain fog. It's a big part of whether or not you get constipation and headaches and cramping. So this is really important to make sure that not only are you getting good pure water, but you're also getting quality electrolytes. And then as soon as I tell somebody, hey, make sure that you're drinking electrolytes, they say, I'll go get a Gatorade. I'm gonna tell you that Gatorade and Powerade and many of these different electrolyte drinks within the typical convenience store or grocery store are complete garbage. They have high amounts of sodium, lots of food coloring, lots of sugar. They're not good for you. So what we want to do is make sure we're getting good quality and balanced electrolytes that have across the board all the different electrolytes you need. It's not just about getting a whole bunch of salt. It's also about getting the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, and so on. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below to the electrolyte drink that I use daily. It's not only loaded with electrolytes, but also a hydrating formula to help you stay hydrated. Now let's go ahead and talk about hunger. This is important because it's very common that you will get signals of dehydration and you'll confuse it for hunger. So then as a result of that, you start overeating and you don't get enough water. This is why it's very good to make sure that before you go eat, you go drink a glass of water and make sure that you're not getting these signals crossed. And then also, even upon waking up, drinking a glass of water. A lot of people go to coffee first, which further dehydrates you after not drinking water all night. Wake up in the morning, drink water. Before a meal, drink a cup of water. It'll help you eat less and it'll also help you stay well hydrated and healthier. Plastic is a big thing. We have to make sure that we're not drinking from plastic. It's estimated that the average person is consuming a credit card worth of plastic every single week. Okay, that's devastating because you might think to yourself, oh, well, we have these detox organs like the liver. It'll just get rid of it. The problem is that they're finding that our detox organs are not getting rid of the plastic. They're finding plastic in people's organ systems, in their cardiovascular system. I mean, it's really bad and it's becoming a continuous problem. These are hormone disruptors. In fact, they can actually really have some devastating impacts on your organ systems long term, it is believed. So make sure you're always drinking from like a stainless steel or glass or something like that, but not plastic. Now, variety is also important. You know, if you're drinking water all the time, sometimes it gets a little bit boring. We can do things like drink some sparkling water. We can put some flavored electrolytes in our water, which I had suggested. We can come up with some variety to make sure that we're not getting worn out of just drinking plain old water every day. We can have things like tea. These are all good options to get plenty of water, stay well hydrated, and also stay very healthy. I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It was a pleasure seeing you in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in this video next.